Why are fans rejecting the notion of a Brock Lesnar versus Omos match at WrestleMania 39? Just 2 weeks away. The match is already official. It's gonna happen. And they just had an in-ring confrontation this past Monday night on a Raw. And yes, Omos botched a bit, throwing Brock Lesnar over the top rope. But that's going to happen. He is relatively new to the business. But here's the thing. A lot of fans on the IWC, a lot of fans on social media, ever since this came to be, have pretty much just crapped on this entire match, on this entire notion of this idea. They didn't want Brock Lesnar going up against Omos at WrestleMania. As a matter of fact, most fans wanted Brock Lesnar to challenge for the Intercontinental Championship, to challenge the Ring General in Gunther at WrestleMania. And make no mistake about it, I would have loved that too. I obviously would have loved that confrontation between the two, especially after that face-to-face earlier in the year during the Royal Rumble match. But if you look at the roster, I feel like the best move possible for Brock Lesnar heading into WrestleMania was to just have him put a bookend to his feud, to his rivalry. Finally put Bobby Lashley, the Almighty, over at WrestleMania. That would have been the best move possible. But instead, they decided to do what they did at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Complete crap. And that's what we got. And now Lashley, due to other circumstances, doesn't have a match at WrestleMania now, because Bray Wyatt is out apparently, and Lesnar has to go up against Omos. First and foremost, do I get the appeal of a Lesnar versus Omos match? Of course I do. Of course I do. I understand that the IWC, the fans on social media, don't want this to happen because Omos is still a bit green. And Lesnar doesn't really work with greener superstars, if I can put it that way. He works with someone who's already knows what they're doing. Somebody who can build up to a big matchup. But I get the feeling that this matchup between Lesnar and Omos is just leading to that one big moment, or two big moments, where Lesnar F5s Omos, or where Lesnar suplexes Omos. That is, without a shadow of a doubt, a WrestleMania moment. Him lifting up a 7'4", 400 plus pound man in Omos at the grandest stage of them all. How could you say no to that? How could you not imagine that on the grandest stage of them all? Yes, it's not wrestler versus wrestler. It's not Kenny Omega versus El Hijo del Vikingo, which we're going to have at Dynamite on Wednesday. It's not that match, and just, that's not a dream match, by the way. Just putting it out there. But again, WrestleMania is all about the spectacle. WrestleMania is all about making the headlines. WrestleMania is all about the biggest stars, the biggest matches possible. And it just seemed that heading into this year's show, everybody has their story leading into it. Everybody's booked. Everybody's, to put it quite simply, everybody's taken. If you don't believe me, look at what they're doing with Edge at WrestleMania. Edge versus Finn Balor again. And yes, they're doing it in Hell in a Cell. Okay, that's going to be awesome to watch. I'm not going to deny that, but it's something that's been going on for almost a year at this point, and they haven't been able to get out of it. They've done a tremendous job building Judgment Day, but come on, they got to move away from Edge. And the only way I see this happening is if they input yet another stipulation on this match. If Edge wins, Judgment Day is no more. we'll just have to wait and see if that happens. But again, that's just the grand scheme of things. What are you going to do? And this whole idea, this whole notion that, oh, this is Vince McMahon's idea, that Brock Lesnar and Omos and Vince is back and everybody's mad and everybody's pissed about this. Yes, Vince McMahon is back. He's back making creative decisions. There's no denying that. There's a reason why we're getting Lesnar versus Omos. There's a reason why Bray Wyatt is no longer on our TV screens. But here's the thing. Vince McMahon, quote-unquote, retired last year. Vince McMahon returned earlier this year at an executive position. And he's slowly creeping back into creative. There is no denying that. And I'm not one to blame any decisions on one man. Especially not in the company. Especially not when it comes to sports or whatever. You can't fix issues by putting or removing one man. It has to be a team effort. Triple H, as far as we know, is still in charge of creative. And as far as we know, I'm just assuming this, Triple H is throwing Vince a bone by giving him Lesnar versus Omos. And by the way, this is something that the entire IWC knows at this point. Lesnar works with whoever he wants to work. That's a fact. If he doesn't work. If he doesn't agree with fighting his opponent at whatever show he's going to be a part of, then he doesn't work. He doesn't agree. He doesn't... That's just Brock Lesnar. We're talking about a man that's only worked full-time 2 years of his entire career. From 2002, his debut in WWE, to WrestleMania 20 in 2004. That is it. He left. He went to the NFL. 6 months. New Japan, again, for a small period of time. UFC, again, you prep for fights. 1 or 2 fights a year. He came back to WWE, again, part-time. 1, 2, 3 pay-per-view matches a year. That is it. Brock Lesnar does what he wants. And I don't think that should be the case, but he is box office. He does bring in eyeballs to the product. And in my opinion, he might be able to put Omos over. He could. We'll just have to wait and see. Again, I'm the kind of guy that just waits and sees how it plays out. Because you never know. It's that simple. My whole ideal is, if you don't like something, don't watch it. You don't cry, you don't moan, you don't complain. Especially not when you're not in control, especially when you're not in control of the booking, especially if you're not in control of the company. That's just a matter of fact. This is entertainment, and Brock Lesnar versus Omos is going to entertain the masses. Which, by the way, WWE caters to. As simple as that. I'm fine with Brock Lesnar versus Omos at WrestleMania 39. I'm fine. We'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. If you're not fine with it, if you think they should have gone a different direction, go ahead and leave it in the comment section below. This has been Wrestling Talk. I'm Alexis Carrillo. Tune in later on tonight for another edition of Monday Night Raw. We're less than 2 weeks away from WrestleMania at this point. So they really got to start heating things up. So, until then, I'll see you next time.